Okay, my Six Nations Round 3 2019 preview. We start with the French playing the Scots in Paris. It's the first game of the weekend. I'm going for a Scotland win by 30 points. I know Stuart Hogg is an injury doubt and may miss the game. Hugh Jones is definitely out. There's going to be some rejigging in that back line. I would expect Peter Horn to come in at inside centre. I would expect Blair Kinghorn to go to fullback. And I'll expect Dunbar possibly to go to outside centre. So they still have two kicking options in the backs to take some pressure off Finn Russell. Even with those injuries in the back line, I think the Scots will have far too much for the French. They thrive on quick ball. The French fitness is clearly, as I mentioned in my round 2 review, the French fitness is non-existent. They were shocking against England, and the second half against Wales they imploded. I think the Scots will be motivated after their defeat against the Irish, and they know they can score tries. They want to be expansive, play this laissez-faire, unstructured attacking rugby. I don't think the French defence is going to be up for it. I don't normally make predictions, but I'm going to try and make some predictions and see if I'm right. I'm predicting Scotland to win by 30 points in Paris. If the French get off on the wrong foot, the Parisian crowd in the park, in Saint Denis, in the Stade de France, will turn on them. They've done this many times. I've been watching Six Nations, and even back in the Five Nations, the French crowd getting vicious with their players when they're deemed not to be performing. And I think this French side could face the hissing and the booing of the Parisian mob. I really do. When that happens, the French generally lose. So I can see the crowd getting after the French. I can see the Scots being disappointed with how they performed against Ireland, considering they had a very good game plan. They were targeting the 10-12 channel. They did that very, very well, but they just didn't quite have enough. And there were a couple of injuries that did disrupt them. They've got a whole week to prepare for this game extra. This is obviously the bye week. It's going to be a brutal encounter, of that I have no doubt. But I still think the Scots, their pace that they play, the fact that their pack is more mobile. Yes, I think the scrum is advantage France in the first half, but as the game wore on against England, that scrum just completely fell apart. So I can see the light mobile scrum of the Scots pulling the French forwards around, and their attacking backs like Blair Kinghorn, Tommy Seymour, Maitland, they're going to have a field day. Those back three will rip the French defence to pieces if it defends like it did against England. So I'm going for a Scotland win by 30 points. Now, England-Wales, I predicted an England win by 5 points, and I'm only basing that. Well, it's difficult. They've won both games. England-Ireland was a brutal physical arm wrestle. Wales, France, the Welsh were hopeless in the first half, I'm not going to lie. Against Italy, there were some issues with the Welsh, but also for England against France, even though they were smashing the French all over the place, both sides have similar issues. The line out. But they're going to be under the roof at the Millennium, which will help. So the weather conditions will be taken out of play, cooked together. But I think if we're basing what both sides did against the same French side, pretty much, the same inept French side, I think England are favourites. They've got a bit more confidence going into this game. Their defence is looking more assured. The Welsh, at times against Italy, switched off. So concentration. I just think England have got this confidence back they didn't have last year. And these are two very different sides from 12 months ago. There's a lot of injuries and retirements for both sides in the last 12 months. A lot of players are no longer selected. Some players have fallen out of favour, retired, injured. These are very different teams. The coaches are the same. The teams are markedly different in key areas. England have started to select Slade and Daly. Yeah, they've decided to go. Some of these backs aren't performing. Robshaw's not playing. England's back row has been transformed. The breakdown is so much cleaner, so much better. And they are missing Mario Itoje and Mako Vunipola. They're both out, which is a big blow in that scrum. But if Courtney Lawes can play like he did against the French and keep his discipline, I have no worry about that England scrum. The issue is Sinclair, Lawes, they tend to give away a lot of penalties and have got discipline problems. That's a concern, is England's discipline. But the Welsh, hey, they're not perfect either. The penalty count for the Welsh, I think, will be too high, and their line-out is misfiring. I'm going for an England win by 5 points, and I'm basing that on the French game, how they both sides played against the French. The Welsh were too passive in the first half against France on the first weekend. They were very standoff, and they allowed the French to get to a 16-point lead, which you can't do every weekend. They got away with it that weekend because the French are that bad. The French have no fitness, no game management, and no leadership on the field, and the French imploded. England are going to be a much tougher test. England are confident. They put 44 points past the French. They could have had 80. I think they're going to be motivated not to let the foot off the gas in this game. They want to play the full 80 minutes. I think the Welshmen played the full 80 minutes as well. Their game against Italy the other week, they did get their foot off the gas at times, and the Italians always had a way back into that game. They weren't comfortable in that game against the Italians. They had 2 tries disallowed. Had those tries been given, yes, it's a more comfortable result, but even then they still let off the gas as well. So both sides want to put an 80-minute performance in, and it's going to be an arm wrestle. Who comes out on top? I'm going for the England by 5. Italy, Ireland, this is not an easy game for the Irish. They have lost in Rome before. Italy will be motivated. They've had some flashes in both games. They played very well in patches against Wales and patches against Scotland. Ball in hand, they look dangerous. If Ireland is the Ireland that was against England, they could lose this game. But I'm expecting the Ireland they had against Scotland, but it's going to be physical. If Sexton plays, I don't think he's 100% fit. The Italians will target him. They will. The issue with the Italians, they sometimes get a bit narrow in defence. And that's where I think having Stockdale and Larmour in the Irish setup and Joey Carberry, who can either start or come off the bench, is going to be key. If the Italians play defensively narrow, they could be exposed on the flanks. The Irish have to be ready for a physical blitz defence. These Italians like their one-up tackles. They will tackle all day. I think discipline is going to be key as well. If the Italians can keep their discipline, but frustrate the Irish. The Italian defence was very, very solid against Wales in the first half. Dan Biggar was the one kicking the penalties to keep the scoreboard ticking over. If the Italian defence can play like it did against Wales, the Irish could have a very, very tough day. Very tough day. And if the Italian attack can click, the Irish can have a tough day. There's a reason why the Irish, though, are the best team in the world. They can win whilst playing not very well. They can win ugly. Much like the Welsh are right now, they can win ugly, but they've already lost a game in the Six Nations. They are looking a bit vulnerable. There's a few injuries in there. Some players not available for selection. And they're not looking as competent under the high ball. Keith Earls could be singled out. I don't think the Italian kicking game is up to that kind of standard, but they could target Keith Earls in defence. He's been targeted in both games so far. Both sides that target him have had success. But I'm still going Ireland to win by 10 points. They're going to win ugly, I think. I think they're just trying to get wins and build some momentum. But the worrying thing about the Irish is, for other teams, this team can get better. There's still room for improvement. They want to win the World Cup. They want to be the second Northern Hemisphere team to lift the Webb Ellis Trophy. They want to maintain their status as #1 team in the world. They don't want to lose that. I think they fared better when they were underdogs. Now they're favourites. There's a bit more pressure on them. I think the pressure got to them in the first game. But this is going to be the third game. They're going to have a full week to train together. And I can see the Irish, okay, they are very structured. What they've got to do is be up for an arm wrestle. The Italian scrum and line-out isn't functioning as well as it could. The line-out is not as bad as the scrum. The Irish could target the Italian scrum as well. But there we go, that's my preview. Ireland to win by 10, England to win by 5, Scotland to win by 30, because I think that French side is the worst French side that has ever taken the field. They're worse than last year, and that side was bad. I think even the Italians could put 30 points past that French side, and I'm not joking. That French team, at right now, under Jacques Brunel, are hopeless. But that's my view on things. Others may disagree, but I've never seen the French side look so lost, confused, low on confidence. And when Mathieu Bastareaud is still your best player and is saying something is wrong, and Bastareaud gives 110% every game, he doesn't shirk his responsibilities. But that is a damning indictment on that French side. It really is. I don't know why there's certain players that are not being selected, like Teddy Thomas. He is a strike runner. He can score. I know he's fallen out with the coach, but my God, you've got to put these petty differences aside to put the best team on the field that is possible. It shows that there is issues within the French setup. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Place your comments below, and I'll have some more videos for you soon before I cough to death.